Hello everyone, welcome to the 8th leg of our Down the East Coast push trip, and today we're going to be flying from Georgia's Savanna International Airport to Jacksonville Executive in Florida. We're excited for this leg because this basically starts the final stretch for this bush trip, and once we get to Florida we know we are only a few legs away because our final destination is Key West, Florida. So without further ado, let's get started. And first thing that I have gone ahead and done is create the flight plan. It's going to be very simple for today. We're going to be flying from Savanna and we're going to fly towards Brunswick Vortac, so SSI, and from there we're going to be flying straight to Jacksonville Executive. Let's see all the data that we need, and to begin with, we're going to be flying at the radial of 198 towards our Brunswick VOR. So first thing we'll do is let's get the VOR frequency, that is 109.8, and we're going to be flying towards it at 198 radial. 198 radial, and it is gonna be for 66 nautical miles. Once we get there, we're gonna be flying from Brunswick VOR at 189 radial for another 43 nautical miles, and that will take us to our destination. As a backup, I am still gonna use, I think there is a VOR here. Yes, KRIC VOR, one more vortex, so we're gonna use that as just a backup. So let me quickly write the information down. The frequency is 114.5, and we're gonna be flying at it at the same radial, actually 189. So these are our, basically this was our backup, and now that we have our flight plan, we can go ahead, remove this, and let's go ahead inside and set up our flight. Also, I'll be using the GTN 750. It is actually fun. We're not going to use the GPS as much, but it's just to use all the other features like getting the METAR, having the charts right there, all of those information. Really enjoying that. Let's check everything's good. Okay, so let's go ahead and turn on the engine. We'll select the fuel pump to left. Actually, before we do that, let's get some fuel, because as far as I know, after yesterday's flight, I shouldn't have much fuel left. Yeah, 31. So we're gonna fill it up to about half tank, 50%. That will give us 231 pounds of fuel. With that said, let's go ahead, select our fuel tank, and then we're gonna go ahead, turn on our master switch, alternator switch. We'll turn on the nav light and beacon for now. Once we have that, next thing we're gonna do is we're gonna put the throttle just a little bit, prop max. We'll put the mixture full and then back, and then we can go ahead and start our engine. I forgot to turn on the fuel pump, but we can turn on the fuel pump right now and we should be good. So we're gonna aim for around 1500 RPM, not more than that. Okay, once we have a clean start, which we do right now, just waiting for the RPM to come back within 1500, we can turn off the fuel pump. And what we are gonna do is let's go ahead and set our nav and so our nav 1, let's set up our nav 1, which has to be, let's see where it is. Yeah, nav 1 standby, and we can even use the touch. So our frequency is 109.8. there you go. We can press the transfer over here, it will transfer. And for our OBS, I think we can change it right there. So we're gonna go ahead, our course will be 198. I'm still not sure how to change the course on the GTN 750. So 190, it should be somewhere here. Yeah, there you go. 198 is selected. And now for our next for our nav2, what we're gonna do is we're gonna select 1114.5, and we're gonna transfer that. And for our nav2 CDI, we are going to select 189. As you can see on the bottom left of the screen, as I change it with my Logitech multi-panel, so 18 and then 9. So there you go, both of those are set. On the map we can simply set like a I think this is the OBS. Yeah, there you go, OBS value. So now that I found it, let me put 1. So for nav2 we're gonna put 189. That should do it. And for our nav1, so let's switch that to our nav1 OBS, will be 198, already set. There you go, we have everything set right there. I have the terrain on, so I'm gonna zoom out a little bit. I have mapped out my loop deck one more time to match the GTN, and we can go back, flight plan, and just to have, you know, another backup for our navigation, we can set the origin to Savanna, and this will also help us get the weather information. And we're going to KRIC, so basically Jacksonville Executive. Yeah, so with all these set, we can simply go click on our origin airport waypoint info and click on weather data. So this gives us our meter now, so that works. According to our meter, the winds are at 310 at 3 knots, and our altimeter is 3013. Let's set up our altimeter. There you go, use the B key, very simple. And the cloud information, very, very nice. And we can even go down and check a lot of stuff. Does it tell us what runway what runway should be used? No, it doesn't, but we know we have winds at 310, so now we can click on runways and simply check all the runways. I think it shows, let's see, yeah, so the closest one is 28, so we're gonna be using the 28 runway, and we are probably parked somewhere over here in the general aviation ramp. So very simple, we'll take a right turn and we'll be right there. And also we can check the charts if we want. We can go to info, view charts, select, and currently no selected chart, so airport parking information, and there you go. We can go in there and see we are in the parking zone, and then we can take Charlie taxiway and we'll be on runway 28. So with all that set, I can leave the chart actually on here so that it can help us during taxi. I'll zoom in all the way I can. This is very, very neat. I'm loving this. The PMS GTN 750, highly recommend it. Buy the full version and you will enjoy it. So we can click on full and then even go zoom in further more, so that way we have the chart entirely on our screen. Yeah, I think this will do. This will definitely do. So with all that set, on our second display right over here, I think that's I'm not sure what unit it called, but it's part of the GTN 750. We can click on default nav, and right now our nav is not active yet, so we'll be waiting for that. Let me put nav over here. The DME will be selected, so our DME unit, we can use that too, will be selected for 1, so a backup for our DME. With all that set, our altimeter is set as well. Nav1, one more time, making sure 109.8. Everything is set. We still don't have the VOR on here, but we know that we're going to be flying once we take off. Let me set up my heading bug. So once we take off, we're going to be flying at 198. And we can confirm that if we go back here. We can go back, and let me check if my key works. Terrain map. Okay, so if we zoom out, we know that once we take off, that line looks awfully long for some reason. Did I mess up something? Let's go back to map. Yeah, so for some reason it looks like there is a very long line for no reason. Interesting. We can go to flight plan and check what is up. Yeah, there you go. These are the only two waypoints, nothing else. Well, that is fine. We're just gonna follow this white line and we should be good. Yep, we are good here. Okay, so let's go back to our charts, and the page is ready already. Everything looks set, so we are ready to roll. Before that, let's set our flaps to take off, and yeah, everything looks good to me. We'll turn on our, we don't really have a taxi light, that is, okay. So we're gonna turn on our landing and strobe lights, and we can go ahead, start our timer on my yoke here, and parking brake goes off, and we are off here. So Charlie should be somewhere there. Also, I've adjusted the height of the camera to make it a little bit more realistic. If you press space, we can go a little bit high in order to check the taxiway and all that. Fixing my rudder pedal a little bit. I think that is not the right taxiway, so we're gonna take this to go to Charlie, and then we're gonna be on the runway. So we are at the holding short point. We'll stop right here real quick, check if there's any traffic around us. No traffic at all. So the windsock tells me that it's around 6 knots of wind and it's gonna be crosswind. Well, that is fine. We have our METAR information, hoping that the live weather is working in Microsoft Flight Simulator. I'll just take that risk, and once we climb up, we're gonna turn to 198 heading, and we should be good. So 198 would be a left turn. Okay, let's go ahead. Our flaps is set. I'll turn on the fuel pump, and we are good to go on the runway. Landing lights are on. I can turn on the pitot heat as well. It's very cloudy out there. Hoping that on our way we are not gonna face too much cloud. It actually looks worse on our way, the left side. Damn, it's completely dark. Well, that is fine. Let's go ahead, and we're ready for takeoff. A lot of right rudder needed. We're almost at the speed for takeoff. A little bit of a skid, and let's go. Landing gear can go up, and on our GTN 750 we can just simply go to map, and we'll take a left turn here. Flaps can come up, fuel pump can go off. So I think we're gonna stay within 2500 for VFR flight, and once our nav comes active, we will turn on our autopilot to guide us using the VOR. For now, we can just follow the GPS for a bit until our nav comes active. So we are right now in the heading, in the correct heading. I am going to turn on my heading bug. Choose it right over here, and I can go ahead with the autopilot, and now I can control the pitch to make sure that we are climbing or descending. Seems like the clouds have a very low base. Right now we are at 1500 feet, aiming for 2500. So another 1000 feet and we should be good. So it seems like our second VR, our vortex for Jacksonville, is already active. That's crazy. That is really crazy, considering how far it is. But our nav1 is still not active. So at least we know that we are heading towards the right direction, based on the second CDI. And we are at 2500, so we're gonna stop climbing here, cut down our power a little bit, and set our cruising setup, so 2300 of RPM. There you go, RPM is set to 2300. We'll keep our power just a little bit low and wait for our VR1 to come active. I'll go ahead and check the frequency one more time, making sure that I put the right frequency for our Brunswick vortex. It is 109.8 and 109.8. Yes, nav1 is set to 109.8, so I'm not sure what is the issue here. I feel like we'll just have to give it a little bit longer. Maybe the range is not good. But for our second vortex, which is in Jacksonville, the KRIC vortex, we already have that on our second nav captured, so we can just keep going. Once we cross Brunswick vortex, we can go ahead and activate the second one. We can see there's a little bit of rain going on outside, and I do not like the look of those clouds. Let's go ahead and look at our. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna go back to flight plan, and let's look at the weather for our destination airport. We are at about 102 nautical miles away, and it's getting the data. 190, winds are 190, 11, and gusting at 16 knots. Wow. Some strong winds. In terms of runway, let's see what runway we have available. So I think there is only one runway. No, there is two. So we can go ahead based on the meter that we have. Let me go back to the meter one more time. So it's 190. What is the runway closest to that? 140. Yeah, so we can go ahead and choose any one of those. We can go to 140 or 23, runway 23. We can select any one. Most probably I'm going to go ahead with runway 14, but we'll make that decision as we get closer to the airport. And in the weather data, we can also look at the clouds. So cloud overcast at 900. Visibility is still good, but there is some clouds, and you can see on the cloud section over here more clear broken layer at 3600 feet. They did not mention anything about the overcast. Visibility is good. Altimeter is 3013. Okay, we're gonna set all that up as we get closer and closer. So we have the information that we need. We can go back to our map page, and it seems like we're climbing a little bit. I'm gonna cut down my power and drop the altitude a little bit to make sure we are within 1500 feet. Still our nav1 is not active. Not sure what is the reason for that. 109 decimal. See, our GPS unit shows that we already captured it, but it's not coming up on our nav1. Let me turn up the lights a little bit here. Yeah, there you go. So not sure why that is the case, but our second nav is active. Our nav2 is active for If we switch our nav here, I'm gonna quickly switch that. The CRG Charlie Romeo Golf VOR, it's already active. This is like very neat. This plugin is very neat. We have almost all the information that we need. It's crazy. Is it because of this, the nav unit here? What if we change that to 109.8 and enter? Let's transfer that. Nothing. No, that is still nav 2. So yeah, for some reason our Sierra India VOR, SSI VOR for Brunswick does not get captured. Interesting. That is fine. Right now, if you look at the map, we are still going on the path. We're going right over here, so we are still on path, and we can basically we can use our second nav if anything. I am going to go ahead and use, I mean, all the details are, all the VORs should be visible, so let's go ahead and check. So this is SSI, basically where we are heading. So we are right on the way, but for some reason it's not getting captured. The frequency, here you go, the frequency is actually perfect, and we have set it up one more time here. So you can see we did not make a mistake when it comes to frequency setting. I just don't know what is going on with this. And this is basically our destination right over here. And this is the VOR we are tracking on our nav2. So if we click on our DME unit, we can see it is basically same. We need 35-36 minutes to get to our destination airport, but the nav1 has no value. Oh, here you go. The weather has cleared up here, and we are still descending. I forgot to set up my trim. So let's go ahead and gain some altitude one more time to make sure we are at 2,500. Flying this plane, you can easily get distracted, especially with the GTN 750. Such a good device. So the weather has cleared up. That is good news for us. So we're gonna go ahead and level our flight over here, just a little bit above 2,500. That is good. And look at how beautiful Georgia is as we're heading towards Florida. so weird, our nav one is still not active. This is absolutely crazy. I wonder why is that issue going on. There's a little bit of turbulence, and for our nav 2 we are a-okay. We are tracking we are almost on the path towards KRIC Jacksonville, and I believe right now we should switch our fuel tank. So I'll turn on the fuel pump and stop my stopwatch on my Logitech yoke, switch the fuel tank, and everything looks good, so we can go ahead and turn off our fuel pump. I mean our fuel tank, I keep mixing up fuel pump and fuel tank. But yeah, we switched. So in this aircraft, in the Piper Arrow, you have to make sure that the difference between both the tanks that you can see right over here is not more than 10 gallons. So you have to switch every 10 to 15 minutes. And yeah, that is it. So that's basically like a mini game inside inside of this plane. Very, very nice scenery out there. And now, okay, wow, this is crazy. Okay, now you can see that SSI is activated. Most probably was the range, yeah. So let's go ahead and move from our heading to nav. And we are already on track, so that is good. We'll just adjust a little bit, and our heading, we are no longer using autopilot to search up the heading or follow the heading, but rather we will be following the radial for our first VOR, which is Brunswick, Sierra Sierra, India. Hey Alex, I hope you're enjoying this bush trip. Do you fly GA a lot, general aviation aircrafts a lot, or are you more into airliners? Also, Alex, make sure to follow this Twitch, and for the past, all the past legs for this down the East Coast push trip, you can go to my YouTube channel, and there's going to be all of the previous legs. Some of the legs were better than others. Like 2 legs ago, we were facing some crazy weather, and right now when we took off, the weather was actually really bad. But look at that, all the clouds. So we came out of that, it was super dark. And look at this now, the weather looks really good, other than this spot right over here where most probably there's rain. Also, let me show you guys something, the Sky 4 NG. So right now this add-on is free, and the reason why I'm showing you this add-on is this is a really, really good add-on. Like, it has map and everything, but the most interesting part is we can go, so we can upload documents, basically PDF. So if you go to PDF reader, I have downloaded some stuff from VATSIM's website and basically entered it over here. And I was thinking, if we have like some leg which is like extremely long, we can literally go ahead and read the PDF and learn about aircraft system. Something to think about. Alex, I'm enjoying the stream. I fly GA. I'm glad you're enjoying, and honestly, I have like for a certain amount of time I did not fly GA aircrafts a lot because I was like, you know, like what's the point and all that. So I was like very much into 737, and initially I learned A320 first, and it was very fun. But then after like flying for a few weeks, I was like, it's so boring. We take off, we set our autopilot system, and that is it. We forgot about it. So that's the reason I got back to GA, and I started flying the Piper Arrow and also the Kodiak 100, which is my favorite. If you go to my YouTube channel, you can find a lot of videos on Kodiak 100 where I use it for one of the carrier add-ons, the On-Air Airline Manager. It is a very beautiful plane to fly, and this one obviously, like right now, one of my favorite for the bush trips. Well, I hope you get back your internet, Alex. So everyone, right now we are, how far are we? If we check our DME unit here, we are 13 minutes away from SSI VOR. So around 31 nautical miles, and we were supposed to fly for 66, so we did fly almost 33. Yeah, we flew almost like 36 nautical miles so far, and we are heading in about 13 minutes. We're gonna change our radial right over here. So we're flying VOR to VOR. Right now we are tracking the radial of 198. Once we cross, we have two options. Either we can switch to our nav 2, which will be following the radial of 189 by default, and we're going to be flying towards our VOR, that is Jacksonville in Florida, or we can change the radial for our nav 1. I think I'm going to go with the nav 2 route because our nav 1's range isn't that good. As we saw after we took off, we couldn't even get the VOR to be active. So I think we're going to go ahead and use our second nav. Oh, I'm glad you're back, Alex. I hope the internet stays stable right now. So let's go over our flight plan one more time. We departed Savanna, Georgia, and from there we are flying towards the Brunswick VOR. And once we get to our Brunswick VOR, we're gonna take a turn and head straight to Jacksonville Executive. And let me just go ahead and check the weather one more time. So we'll go back to our flight plan and Jacksonville Executive and waypoint info, and then we can press on weather data. Nothing has changed. The weather data is from 1453 Zulu, and the winds are still at 190, 11 knots, and gusting at 16 knots. So very heavy, very strong winds. In terms of our runway, we're gonna have a little bit of crosswind, but mostly headwind if we choose our runway 14, which currently I think that's the runway we're gonna go with. So runway 14, and for altimeter we can go ahead and set that it is 3013. So we can go ahead and set it right now. Let me move to our altimeter indicator over here. So the altimeter is 3013. Currently we're at 3014, so it's just a little bit. We change just 1 unit and we are at 3013. We can head back to our map page. Also, we have to make sure we are constantly checking our fuel. So right now we're using our right tank. Once that reaches the similar level of our left tank, we can go ahead and switch to our left tank. The weather is getting a little bit unstable in front of us. Let's see if the weather radar works. Thank you for the follow, Alex. Let's see if the weather radar works in the GTN. Yeah, it actually does work. Great. So if we check our horizontal scan, we have a little bit of weather on our left, and that is basically we can increase the range. So if we zoom out, zoom out. Oh wow, see, there's a lot of weather in front of us. Also, Alex, this is basically the PMS GTN 750. So many letters I keep getting mixed up, but this is basically the PMS GTN 750, and the weather radar is working in this one just like the G1000 NXIs. So we can see that we do have some weather ahead of us. It's up to us if we wanna go around it. I think I will go around it because it's not that much not too much of deviation. So we might take left turn here, and we can also drop altitude if we want to avoid it. But I think what I'm gonna do is I'll keep it on this page, and we're gonna go back to our heading mode. So down here we'll go back to our heading, and we'll start changing our heading to take a left turn here. I think we have a lot of tailwind component, which is why we're almost on the yellow zone of speed. Yeah, I agree. There are so many good mods for Microsoft Flight Simulator right now. Like initially, it was very hard to find even a good aircraft, but right now, there are so many other things. If you do fly GLX and you fly the Kodiak, like I highly recommend Kodiak 100. It is basically my favorite aircraft, and using the G1000, oh man, it is just so fun to use that. Seems like we successfully avoided the weather. If we look at our weather radar, we are good here, so we can go ahead and continue at 198. If we zoom out a little bit more, so we should be clear. There's a little bit of weather, I think right near our VOR, but that should be fine. We can still avoid it without too much problems. And if we go to our nav, so once we are clear of this weather on our right, let me go to this view. Let's see. So once we are clear, like once we get about 5 nautical miles away from this, then we can go ahead and activate our nav one more time on our autopilot system right here. Microsoft Flight Simulator has come a long way. I remember when I started, I think the first edition that I played was FS 2004. Yeah, I think that was the first version that I played, and at that point I was like, oh my god, everything looks so real. And right now, it's like, it's beyond real, I think. Everything is just beyond real. Let's drop our altitude just a little bit. As we are almost at 3000, we are trying to stay at 2500 here. And look at that, no more weather in front of us. And if we go to vertical scan, we have literally no more weather. So we can go ahead, move to nav one more time, let our aircraft do its job, and we are almost close to 2500. Yes, I really recommend you check out the Kodiak. And also with Kodiak, so one more thing is that I would say try to learn it a little bit, like read the POH of Kodiak and try to learn the checklist. You don't have to learn the entire aircraft, just go through the checklist and the procedures, and you're gonna really enjoy flying it. I'm not sure if I'll stream later today or not, but if I do, I will be streaming the on-air airline carrier mode that I'm doing using Kodiak 100, and in that I basically fly in Alaska. So you can go ahead and check a few of the videos that I have right now on my YouTube channel. Flying in Alaska is a whole different world. Like, you have to constantly, like, you cannot really depend on autopilot too much. You have to constantly be using the heading mode to make sure that, you know, you're not gonna go ahead and just hit a mountain or something. But it's just so much fun flying like that, and there's a lot of hand flying in Alaska. There's like a lot of hand flying, which I personally enjoy, especially with Kodiak. Like, it's such a robust aircraft. So using my heading mode here just to avoid some weather upcoming. And let's see how far we are from our destination. So we are around 25 minutes away, not too bad. And if we check our DME unit, we are just around 7 minutes away from our first VOR. So the upcoming legs should be really fun. We'll be flying mostly near the coast as we head towards Key West. So we started all the way from New York City, or to be exact, we start from Long Island MacArthur Airport in Long Island, New York, and we are heading towards Key West. This is the 8th leg, and it's going pretty good. We are towards the end of on the last stretch of this push trip. We should be done with it in another like 4 or 5 legs, and after that I'm still not sure what next push trip I should plan. Thank you, Alex. I'm pretty sure you're gonna enjoy the videos that I have on my YouTube channel as well. Thank you for the follow and the subscribe. And let me know if you want to join for some of the bush trip legs. I'll be glad to fly with someone else. So you can come in and join me for some of the legs. think this time we should switch our fuel tank. So to do that, we're gonna turn on our fuel pump. Engine, instruments, and everything looks good. RPM is looking good, so we're gonna switch our fuel tank and turn off our fuel pump. Thank you, Alexander, for your subscribe. Do you fly on VATSIM? Yes, Alex, I do fly on VATSIM. So for VFR flights, I still didn't start, but usually I fly on VATSIM, like I would say, especially during evening, because that's when most of the controllers are available, and I fly mostly on the East Coast. So you will see me flying from Boston to Washington DC and stuff like that a lot of the times. I really want to start flying like VFR on VATSIM, because I want to learn how to communicate when it comes to things like airspace and all that. Oh, we're flying near an airport. What is that? Let's go ahead and check. KSSI. Okay, that's probably the Brunswick Airport right on. You can see on our left window here, which means we are very close. We are 4 minutes away from the VOR. So I think what I'm gonna do right now, let me show you. So we'll go on this nav page. On the DME unit, we can choose nav2, and our nav2 is set up. If I switch my nav here, so nav2 is set up for 114.5, which is the KRIC VOR in Jacksonville, and the second CDI over here basically shows us the path towards it. So once we switch to nav2 on the DME, we can go ahead and let me find where it is. So right over here is the nav switch knob. Now I have everything mapped up, so I'm just gonna switch it to nav2, and our aircraft will follow or take us towards Jacksonville without us doing any heading mode or anything. All we have to do is move our autopilot to nav, and we'll be heading towards Jacksonville from here. We started this bush trip in such a nice weather, and look at where we are now. Everything is gloomy, and some of the lakes we had such a tough time to even land the aircraft. Course is set to 189, yeah, just to confirm that. Let me go ahead real quick. We are going to check the weather. I really don't want to make a mess out of the landing, so the weather is still same, the METAR is still same, so we should be still good with runway 14. And another thing we can do is we can go to charts, so view charts. So that was the chart from our previous Jacksonville, Florida. We're gonna split this. Okay, so let's select the airport chart. So here you go. What we are thinking is we are going to choose runway 14. That looks pretty good. So our heading will be 141. Let me go ahead and put that on our heading bug, 141. That way we have a good reference of where we are going to be landing. So if you look at our heading bug here, so our runway will be towards a little bit towards our left. That is good. We might join the traffic pattern, and yeah, we'll join the traffic pattern. If we see that we can do a straight in, then we're gonna go ahead for a visual straight in landing. But if not, then we'll just join the traffic pattern for the runway, and we'll land. Chart looks good. Let's go back to our map page and let's see. So we're around 20 minutes away, not too far. We are currently overflying the Brunswick VOR, and we are very close here. So this is basically where we are heading towards. Flying on the coast is just so fun. I think this summer I really want to travel. Not summer actually. Maybe the coming fall I might go to Florida. Last month I was in LA and it was a really good trip. Going away from New York City, like it was super cold at the time we were in LA too. So moving away from New York City was pretty fun for a week. But I definitely have to go to Florida this year. That's one of my goals. Let's go to the weather page. I mean, not weather page, but the. Let's zoom out and see if there is any weather ahead of us. So nothing up to 120 nautical miles. That is crazy. But on, I mean, I can see there that there's a little bit of what do you call that? There's a little bit of clouds up front, but nothing in terms of rain and stuff. So that is good. We had weather behind us, but in front of us, I think we are good. Oh man, this is so beautiful. I'm very sorry, Alex, that your internet is having a terrible time. Honestly, internet is also a hit or miss most of the time. Like, I usually have good internet, thankfully. Living in New York City has helped me with the internet at, the very least that it can do. But some days, yeah, some days it's just crazy. Some days I can't even live streaming. Some days I can't even watch YouTube videos. That's how bad it gets. So, internet is always a hit or a miss. But right now we are having a good flight here, no turbulence. We just have a little bit of clouds, and we checked with our weather radar. There is no weather in front of us, at least for the next 60 nautical miles, but we are only 37 nautical miles away from our destination, so that is good. That is good. We will be landing at runway 14. The winds are coming from 16 or 190, I think. Let me quickly check that. Flight plan. So winds are coming in at 190, yeah. Winds are coming in from 190, so we're gonna have a crosswind, but nothing crazy. It shouldn't be anything crazy. In terms of fuel, we're doing good. We're gonna change our fuel tank just in a bit, and we're cruising at 2,500 feet. So I've adjusted my height in MSFS Flight Simulator because some of the default height is like over here, which is, in my opinion, unrealistic. Because if you turn around, like personally, I'm not that tall, so I'm not tall at all. So this was very unrealistic, which is why I set my new height to be super low. This is one of the issues that I face a lot with MSFS Flight Simulator, like these small things like camera height and all that. I have to keep on changing. Yeah, like living away from city, I can understand, Alex. But in New York City, yeah, there are time to time, like there are issues with internet here and there. So, but thankfully not too much. Like not too much. What I mentioned is like some days the internet is just bad. Other than that, mostly it's good, and I'm glad. I just hope your internet stays stable, and yeah. So I believe if you're from France, then you fly a lot on VATSIM on Europe side. I haven't flown in Europe in last few months. I think before that I used to do a lot of short hops using EasyJet, and I did enjoy it a lot. So we are 15 minutes away from our destination. What we're gonna do is we're gonna start descending down once we are around like what, 7-10 minutes away. We're gonna start descending down to, I know the airport elevation is not too much, it's Florida, so but we can confirm that. We can confirm the airport elevation by going to flight plan, and we don't even have to go anywhere else. We can look over here, 38 feet, which means our traffic pattern would be at 1000 1038 feet. I will go ahead, open the charts. So I believe we're gonna land, we are gonna land on runway 14, and if we can stop before Alpha 3, then we're just gonna take Alpha 3 and we'll go to the FBO area right over here, or we can just go to, I think this is general aviation parking. This might be the general aviation parking. And if we want to roll down up to Alpha 5, then we'll just go straight to Alpha 5 and park somewhere around the control tower. Nobody should mind where we are. Ooh, we are inside a very dark cloud. Didn't see this on my weather radar. Still should be good. Nothing to worry about here. So we're gonna go ahead and change our fuel tank from, right now we're in left tank, so we're gonna go to right tank. So for that, we'll turn on our fuel pump, checking the engine instruments, RPM, everything is good. We'll switch to our right tank and turn off our fuel pump. "11 minutes out from I fly mainly UK vaccine." Yes. I hope I can join you one day. I have to start flying in Europe. Like, I really love the terrain over there. So I definitely have to start flying in Europe. And there's usually a lot more VATSIM controllers available for some reason. Like in the US here, especially in East Coast, it's always towards like I would say around 7 p.m. or 8 p.m. That's when everybody's like online. In Washington Center, New York Center, Boston Center. One thing I wish the GTN 750 had was wind information. Just can't seem to find any wind information around here. So I wish it showed where the wind is coming from, which in G1000 it definitely shows that. I love it, but I've tried like going into different places, but nothing. So there is this VNAV section as well. I still have to learn the GTN 750. Like, I'm pretty comfortable with G1000, but with the GTN 750 I'm still not that comfy. There are some low level clouds here, which is expected. We saw that it was for Jacksonville executive, the meter said that there was overcast clouds in around 900 feet. We are 10 minutes out and we're gonna start. One day when I have some spare time, I will fly with you. That will be nice. I would absolutely love that, Alex. We definitely have to fly together one day. Oh, look at that. Look at the Florida vibe right there. Beautiful, beautiful job by Microsoft Flight Simulator. We're gonna start descending down very, very slow. So make sure the trim setting is not too harsh. Cut down my power just a little bit and we'll descend down. Our goal is to get to about 1,000 feet by the time we are close to our airport, or maybe like 1,200 feet. Right now we are 11 minutes away from our destination. seems like we ended up gaining a lot of altitude without me even knowing. That is crazy. It's the wind that did that. Pretty sure we are at 4,000 altitude. Wow. I didn't even notice that. That is crazy. Flying this airplane, you always have to keep an eye on the instruments. Like without me even knowing or feeling anything, we just ended up gaining almost 2,000 feet. That is not good. I mean, we still have time, so we have around 8 minutes left before we get to our destination, and we have more than enough time to descend down to 1,200, and then once we can visually see the airport and the runway, we are going to start descending down to traffic pattern altitude, which is 1,038 feet. One final check of the meter, making sure that, where did it go? Making sure that we are still good with the runway we chose. Okay, so the winds changed. Right now it's 200, which means, what other runway do we have? We can choose runway 23 actually. Yeah, I think we'll have to switch on that. So we have to go ahead with runway 23. Let's go to info view chart. So for if we decide to go with runway 23, then we definitely have to cross over the airport and then join the left I mean downwind for runway 23 and then go ahead land. For that the heading will be 231, so I'll set that on the heading bug. Good thing we checked the weather one more time. I'll stay on map. We are descending down and heading will be 23. Let's go. Yeah, there you go. 234. Okay. So this way we can join the downwind, and we know usually it's gonna be better actually to go with runway 23 because we have to overfly the airport. So we'll overfly the airport, join the traffic pattern, and then yeah, we'll start at downwind and then base and final, and we'll be down. We burnt a lot of fuel. We only have around like what, 20 more gallons left. Close to, yeah, I mean 25 or 30 more gallons left. 1500 feet should be enough. We'll start cruising in at here, as we are around 6 minutes away from our airport. So we'll also have to be careful what like there are multiple airports close to one another, so we'll have to make sure that we go to the right airport. So the VOR is like right next to, very close to one of the runways, so we are going to be overflying the airport for sure, and the airport should be straight ahead of us. Once I can visually see it, I will be turning off the autopilot and will be hand flying for the rest of the flight. I just noticed that when I was going through the chart, I drew a line with the mouse, and I think it was completely inaccurate because we are currently following the heading of almost like 190. So if we are on heading of 190, and if we go to the charts, okay, viewpoint info view chart. So we are actually coming in from, I don't know, here, yeah, towards here. So the runway, it's going to be easy for us to join the downwind here. Just wanted to clear that up as we are heading closer to the airport. Yeah, we are very close. About 4 minutes out, we should be able to see the runway soon. And we are at 1500 feet. So perfect. We don't want to be in traffic pattern. What if someone else is there? Florida is pretty. Oh yes, Alex, Florida is very, very pretty. In the US, that's like one crazy thing. You can find every type of geographical location. You can find mountains, like crazy mountains if you go towards the west or even Midwest, and then you can find very beautiful coastlines on the east coast and the west coast. It is just a beautiful beautiful place, especially Florida. It is very, very beautiful. I think that is the airport, if I'm not wrong. But once again, there are a lot of airports around, so this is definitely not 4 minutes away. I don't think so. Also, Alex, I will be streaming around this time almost like 5 days a week. Tomorrow, I'm not sure what time I'm gonna stream, maybe a little bit later, but on Monday through Friday, I will be streaming around this time. So I think this is one of the airports. Not sure if that is our airport or not. Nah, I don't even think this is the airport. Wait. Looks very interesting. Okay, this is like a building area. Yeah, this is not the airport. All the building graphics are a little bit messed up. Also, my PC is not that crazy, so I cannot play on ultra settings. I just play on high settings. It does the job for me. We are around 2 minutes away. Visibility is good for the airport. We should be able. I think that is the airport. Yeah. And I believe this is the runway light that we are trying to land on. So we're gonna go ahead, quickly change the fuel tank back to left tank. Fuel pump is on. Tank switch to left, fuel pump goes off. Okay, so here you go. This is the airport and this is the runway light for runway 24. Or I think runway 23, yeah. Just to confirm, we're good with the runway waypoint info, runway 23, sorry. Okay, so we have that for runway 23 set. And I think we can turn off the autopilot. Let's go ahead and hand fly. Cut down the power a little bit, bring my RPM to max, and can we do a visual straight in? I mean, we should be able to. We just have to make that right hand final turn. So, okay, cannot go too low in terms of power until our wheels are down, our landing gear is down. So what I'm gonna do is, instead of making a mess out of the landing towards the end, we're just gonna join the traffic pattern and do a regular landing. So we are already at traffic altitude. Keep our power here. So the way that I do my landing is I keep an eye on my heading bug right over here, making sure, and then we're gonna join the traffic pattern and go for the landing. So we are good with the altitude. I can put my landing gear down in just a little bit. We are good with the speed too. So this is the runway basically on our left. So right now There you go, 2, 3. Seems like, yeah, right there. The numbers were like on top of each other. That was crazy. We're gonna make a left turn here, and we don't want to drop too much altitude. We're gonna go ahead and put our landing gear down. That will help us with our speed control and flaps. So for flap 1, flap 10 degrees, our speed is 108. Right now we are lower than that. We can go ahead, select that, making sure I don't lose too much of altitude. I can see the runway on the left. We're gonna fly just a little bit of straight, kick my rudder pedals so they don't act up. I'll keep my fuel pump on for landings, and yeah, making sure that we don't lose too much altitude. Can go ahead, start making that turn, put my flaps down to 20, cut down my power more, and we'll go ahead, make the base turn. I can feel the wind. Wow, that wind is strong. That is one strong wind. Making that final turn now. We'll wait just a little bit. Yeah, that wind is crazy. Wow. It's gusting. It was gusting at around 17 knots or something. So this should be how it is. Our landing gear is down, fuel pump is on, and we're good to go with the landing. Flaps are full. Oh my god, this wind is just crazy. Okay, this is not what I expected from this landing to be. Finally a little bit of calm winds, and we'll just try to line up as best as possible with the runway. We are, yeah, that wind is not it. And we slammed on the ground. Wow, that was not a good landing at all. But we made it down, safe and sound. It was negative 147 feet per minute. Didn't feel like that. It felt like a lot more. But seems like we ended up on the ground somehow. No problems. The wind was just so crazy, man. I did not enjoy that. Fuel pump can go off. Landing lights can go off. Flaps will be up. And wow, we made it down. Not a bad flight, but the ending was just very, very crazy. I did not enjoy that wind at all. That wind was pushing the plane left and right. Did not enjoy that. What do you think about the landing, Alex? It did not sound good. That's one thing I can 100% say. It did not sound good. We just slammed on the ground. Let me open the charts here. So we are all the way over here. Let's see. I think to take a right turn or something. Yeah, so we're gonna go to this FBO ramp. So we're gonna take a right turn here. Yeah, that was some crazy wind. I was just scratching my head. I'm like, what do I do now? But at least we managed to get down the ground. The landing report says it was 147 feet per minute, which isn't too bad in terms of vertical speed. And I'll show you how I got the landing report. I use a free app called Sim Toolkit Pro. Alex, I highly recommend you download that. You can use it for a lot of things, finding real airline flights that you want to fly using any airliners, and you can even do VFR planning, all of that. So we're gonna take left turn on that taxiway. I can see one of the airport workers waiting for us right there, I believe. So we're gonna take a left turn on this FBO ramp. My pitot heat can come off. I don't need that right now. And we're gonna follow the guy, his instructions, and we're gonna go ahead park. Yeah, the aircraft is definitely in one piece, right? That's what matters. We walk away safe, and that is it. The other day I was watching, I mean, I was on Facebook and I saw this one meme where it's like, you should not calculate landing metrics by anything other than the fact that you survived and the plane is okay. That's what really matters. So we're gonna go ahead, park right here, and there you go. We're gonna turn on our parking brake, and let's go ahead, turn off our nav lights, and we'll switch off the engine. So that is it for this leg. I hope, Alex, you enjoyed a lot, and the landing was just something crazy. Like, I personally enjoyed it. It was definitely something very crazy, but I did enjoy it at the end. So we're gonna turn that off. We'll bring our fuel tank to off position, and we can turn off our beacon light. We can turn off all the other lights. Nav light is already off, alternator can go off, and master switch can go off. So this is it for the 8th leg of our down the East Coast push trip. We did go through some weather, and towards the end it was just something very crazy. The winds were not it, they were not helping us at all. Well, I hope everyone enjoyed this leg, and make sure to tune in for the next leg. We're going to be flying from Jacksonville Executive to Orlando International Airport. I enjoyed watching the flying. Thank you, Alex. I'm really happy you were with me throughout almost all the flight, and it was nice chatting with you. So I hope you'll join in for my other streams as well, and have a great day. I'll see you in the next one.